music and okay.
Sorry, guys. I'm at my mom's helping her with some stuff, so I'm going to
Oh.
be listening, but can't do video today.
Don't apologize. It's perfectly fine. Let me go ahead and really quickly share a screen. So once again, hello, everybody. Welcome to Digital PNA. Thank you so much for being here today. This is the only PNA Northwest chapter, stands for Professional Network Association. We cover the whole state because we're greedy. We're not just, we're not just tied to one local demographic, one zip code. We go big or go home. Ironically, Karen, who's also a member, she's in Arizona because apparently the weather's nicer over there. She's our snowbird. So we cover 2 states, all because of her. So it's really on her completely. This is me. That's my bobblehead. I'm moving on. I'm president of the year. And right now, this is our membership. It's a little smaller. Some of you might remember we had, I think, 12 or 15 people last year. And then some other people left state, left their jobs, switched things around, etc. Attrition happens. But we're in a really neat position right now. For starters, round of applause. Welcome Rosie Stritzel, our newest member, TAP Services, Taxes, Accounting, and Payroll. So FYI, she'll be judging each one of you as you talk today. And if there's any number dropper, she'll be like, oh. And she's a bulldog, so she'll probably, camp out on your front porch if you're local enough, because she loves having one-to-ones and getting to know you. Rosie, thank you for joining us. Yeah. Great to have you as a member. And I know this is a horrible bait and switch, but if anybody does decide to join this particular chapter, the statewide and beyond Digital PNA group, if you're referred by someone, I like saying thank you. And I do that by way of moolah, green stuff. I guess I should have that the other way around. The 100 should be green, the text should be red. But if you did want to get a nice little referral, thank you, recommend people to Digital PNA, and I will say thank you in the moolah sense. Or a steak dinner. I prefer steak. I'm sure we can figure something out. Mike, you're drooling. Yet got a little something right there. Okay. This is a little bit different of a meeting than some of you have probably been to before. I'm going to ask for volunteers. It's just because there's always a possibility Jennifer has fallen asleep. So if we engage her somehow, we know that we can get back to her because we currently can't see her nodding off. We'd like to get a photographer, and that is someone who can do anything from a screenshot during the meeting 1 or 2 times, things that grab your interest. Maybe you'll grab your phone, rotate around, take a selfie of yourself, smiling in front of all of our bobbleheads, whatever. Someone that wants to be a volunteer for a photographer, raise your hand, or I will volunteer because I'm a giver. Anyone? Mike says yes. Thank you. Sold. Okay. Tracker. That is someone who literally tracks things. Now, technically, this is Marcel's VP job, but she's more of a official role. If anyone else wants to listen for any quotables, anything that's kind of neat that could be turned into a meme to help market us or you or our businesses, any particular data points, you're welcome to be a tracker. Would anyone like to do that? If not, it falls on your hands, Marcel.
I will be the tracker today.
You'll do it.
Even though I really want to be the doodler, but I always have to share that with someone else.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I do have to say, I was hoping, and he still might be here, I have a cartoonist that is supposed to be here on the call today. I hope he joins. Maybe Steve forgot. I was going to give him the doodler role, right? Because hello, he's a caricature artist. But as of yet, we don't have that. Would anyone like to be the doodler? And that's literally, you can, if you're taking notes, if you're sketching, or one time one guy literally admitted he was bored and he drew some other little funny character. Would anyone like to be the doodler for the meeting?
And the reason we encourage doodling is it builds your skill set for storyboarding when and if you ever get to that storyboarding part of your video career. So doodling quick sketches become very handy. I think Rosie should try that this time.
I think it's a great idea. Rosie,
you've been voluntold.
At one point doodle during the meeting?
I can try.
Okay, awesome. There you go. See,
I gotta get a pen.
Providing solutions here at Digital PNA. Okay, so we're going to do 60-second commercials. We're going to go around the room and literally give a commercial about what your business is. I'm going to kill the screen really quickly because we're going to do the commercials, and then we're going to go back around and talk about a particular tangent, a particular subject of interest, hopefully interest. We'll see how well that works. But commercials are pretty simple. Give us your name, give us your business, maybe how long you've been in business, and then something that maybe sets you apart from your competition. Maybe you don't have competition, or something to that effect. So let's go ahead and start with Mike. And then in the chat window, I'm going to write the order of the other commercials. So have your chat window open as well. And Mike, when you're ready, oh, by the way, I'll be the timer today. So everyone's off the hook there. So Mike, hit it.
Thank you very much, Brian. It's great to be here. I very much look forward to these meetings. Mike with BizX. BizX is a B2B partner network that has been around for 22 years now, with about more than 4,000 members, mostly in Washington State, but also in the Bay Area and in San Diego. All of these companies transact with one another using an internal currency called the BizX dollar. To do so, or the reason why companies do that is that by tapping this network, we're able to help them get new customers, paying them in BizX dollars, and then companies can use those BizX dollars to offset what would otherwise be a cash expense for the company, thereby increasing companies' ability for positive cash flow. So new customers, positive cash flow. BizX is a community that helps companies do both.
Well done, Mike. And you are literally at 58 seconds. Good job. All right.
Thanks.
Next up in the chat screen. Marcel.
I had a feeling that might be me because I wasn't looking, of course. Hey, everybody, I am Marcel with Dreamosity, and Dreamosity is one of BizX's newest members. I was trying to grab the link real quick so I could drop it in the portal here. I have a new profile page on BizX where you can go and do some shopping and not have to pay cash if you have BizX dollars. So that's cool. But I support remarkable leaders as they navigate the internet. I do that with Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and Instagram are the 4 platforms I help people generate content and optimize that content, because so often people get that content in front of 100 views, or maybe 1,000, but really until you're hitting 1,000 views or maybe 10,000, there's not enough momentum. And so if you know people that are doing a great job on camera, but they're still not quite seeing the results, those are my favorite because they're already in the game. They just need a little help making their base hit a grand slam. So visit dreamosity.com, and my goal here with the members here is to train you to be an extension of my sales force or my referral team. And so if you ever want to book a one-to-one, you can go to dreamosity.com and book a 15-minute call. If you have questions, can you do this? Or if you know somebody, you're like, you just need to meet this really wonderful person. Her nickname is Hallmark, also known as Marcel. Go to Dreamosity and ask them just to book a 15-minute strategy session or kind of consult. So you can always do that. Happy to be here.
You almost got that screen.
I'm normally short, so that's cool.
Good job. You're far from short. You're like 5'10" something, right? There you go.
6'1" in heels.
Jennifer, if you're able to see the chat screen, you're up next. And jump off mute in case you don't know. Okay, we'll go ahead and circle back to Jennifer. That means I'm not next. I'm going to give a brief one because I'm actually the speaker today. So hi, everybody. Brian Trendler. I co-own LaughTech with, on my screen, this person, Marcel Allen. Best business decision and partner I could ever ask for. We literally get to make people laugh. There's nothing cooler than that, because when you're laughing, you're releasing all sorts of good things like stress. You go through an entire physiological change. Endorphin is released. If you're doing it right, serotonin is released as well. And you learn better, you listen better, you're more likable, you're more listenable, you're more memorable, ideally more ROI-able. We teach people how to do that. I'm going to tell you more about that as well in just a few minutes, but also another cool thing that we do at LaughTech. So that's it for me today.
Do you want me to go next, Brian?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Trish Tatarg, and I am a body language strategist and a life coach. So what I do is I help you with your communication, both in your messaging and your physicality, so they're aligning with your intentions, your purpose, and your goals. And we do this in 4 pillars of success, which are confidence, trust, and approachability, so that you're basically magnetizing business to you. So in a nutshell, really what it's about helping you with your first impression, helping you with your client meeting, the first client meeting, a networking event. And we'll talk, more about that later. But that's it for now. And oh,
Cool.
one
Thank
more
you.
thing. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Marcel.
Awesome. 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 Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and go to Rosie and then we'll circle back, see if Jennifer's available.
Hi. Yes, I'm not on mute. Sorry, I had to look. That's me. Anyway, as Brian knows, it's been kind of a crazy month in January. So we're at the end of January. 1099s were filed, 940s were due, W-2s were due, and lots of clients stressing out. But what's the nice thing is I'm able to actually, and this is what puts me apart, is I actually will help a client look at their financials and not just go on their word. So as an example, I had one client that thought, oh, there's only 3 1099s that are needed for himself and 2 other people. And I went through his transactions. I'm like, well, did you find out if this person's a sole prop? And he's like, I don't know. Okay, I'll call them. Yeah. And so I called them. And of course, they needed a 1099. So I kind of saved his butt, in the matter of speaking. And but that's what makes me different. And that's what I like to do. I like to get into the nitty gritty of everything. And that's me, Rosie with Tap Services.
Outstanding. Great job, Rosie. Jennifer, are you available to give a commercial? That'd probably be a no. Okay. Well, if she comes back, we won't know, of course. But if she comes back, we'll give her an opportunity a little bit later. I'm going to pop up the shared screen again for just a second. And I'm going to have excuse me, I'm actually going to have Marcel start this one off, okay? Only because I needed I almost said therapy for some reason. I needed some help, kind of the same thing. I was generating this and she assisted, and I'm just going to be quiet. So let me share the screen. So this is a tangent. We're going to circle back and go through kind of commercials again, but talk about this particular subject. Now, this is near and dear to Marcel's heart. This is actually a screenshot of someone who she, frankly, I think admires greatly, but I'll let her talk about it. But the theme is going to be: are you comfortable? Do you tagging people on Instagram or to collaborate on videos is, and or in this case, can be nerve-wracking. Do you do it? Have you done it? And why should you do it? Marcel, can you lead us off? And then we'll go back to the other rotation.
Yeah, of course. So just this weekend, I went out to a museum / photography gallery, and the photographer had done a really special event where she had photographed 40 women over 40. It was absolutely beautiful. And I got a last minute invite to go with my friend Tony there. And midway through, they were having this great conversation around like what makes a woman sexy and what makes you feel good and what makes you powerful. And my friend Tony was like hesitant to go up and say what she thought. And I nudged her. I said, the man with the mic's making the money. The woman with the mic's making the money. Because I really believe that as we take that opportunity to speak in front of, there was 80 people in the room. Anyway, she got up there, and I pull out my phone and I start recording her, and I just get like 20 seconds of her, and then I get 20 seconds of the photographer at the end and a couple little clips, and I share it to my Instagram. And my friend Tony has 20,000 followers on Instagram, so she's quite the influencer already. And what that can do for somebody, because there's tagging where you just tag the URL, like their handle. There's tagging when you invite them to collaborate in a photo or a video with you. There's tagging them in a photo. There's multiple layers of tagging, and rarely do I invite other people to quote unquote be a collaborator, because it's a new thing. And so the other person has to accept the tag. And for her, I mean, this video is, people are still talking about it. I encourage you to go onto my Dreamosity page and watch it and see it. But there's this like activity happening about the tagging, and it's kind of like back in the day in email. You wouldn't email your entire database and put everybody in the you do the BCC versus so there's these little nuances and kind of tactics and or whoopsies, like things we don't want to do to make a mistake. And so I just want to ask people today, are you comfortable tagging other brands on Instagram, or do you kind of resist and not know what or why? Because I think it's important that we learn to do this successfully, especially from the referral partner perspective. So, Rosie, do you want to share first? I don't hear you,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
there you are.
There, I had to pull down my microphone. So as far as videos, I have done none yet, but as you know, Marcel, Marcel and I are actually working, and I'm using her services to help me get more comfortable with video. So one of the things that I think I'm going to actually do is a 1099 video and a W9 video, and we went over a whole I'm sorry, what do you call wisdom guide, right? Yeah, wisdom guide to help me basically have a better flow so that I don't look so like stick figure like. And but yeah, I plan to do it this week. It's just a matter of finding, like you said, the right time or the right atmosphere in this chaotic house. And the time where we don't get interrupted by either cats, kids, or parents. So yeah, which it will be my car.
Yeah,
So
well, we'll get to tagging soon enough, and
yeah.
I apparently we're going backwards on the list now. So sorry for throwing that off, Brian.
Because you snagged Rosie. Yeah. So,
I know.
Trish, if you want to go ahead and address the tangent of the day.
Well, Marcel probably knows from seeing my Facebook, I am not afraid of video. And because if we're waiting to be perfect, then we're never going to post anything. And being perfect is boring. No one relates to perfect. No one, kind of leans forward to perfect. But regarding the tagging, I know absolutely nothing about it. I just got to the point, and it's been put on hold as I've been studying for the month of January and February. But I just got into the habit of posting regularly on Facebook and Instagram before I kind of put that on hold, and doing all my hashtags and what hashtags meant. So tagging would probably be the next area where I would have room to grow and to learn and to expand.
Awesome. All right, so I'm next. I will just embarrassingly say no, and I should. I'm a raging hypocrite, and late last year and now this year, I've realized I actually don't. This is completely unintentional, but I run 3 companies, so I need help. I don't do a lot of the things I practice, so I don't practice what I preach a lot when it comes to video. And when it comes to using Instagram or Insta, if you're one of the cool kids. So I'm very behind in that. Now, thankfully, I'm incredibly lucky that Marcel handles the majority of the social media for those types of things. Anything other than Facebook, I pull the 80-year-old man that sits on his rocking chair yelling at the kids walking by, right? So I'm grumpy about that stuff, and I do need to fix that. I need to grow into that comfort level. I would love to collaborate with people on video, but to me that just sounds sexy. I don't even know how to start. And really, it boils down to asking, right? I mean, if I wanted to collaborate with Trish, I just should say, hey, let's do that. And she'd go, yeah, with the thumbs up. And then there'd be a rainbow and a unicorn, and we figured it out. So I think I've just done that. So apparently we're going to collaborate on something. So I need to do better. I feel this is like an AA group. All of a sudden, it's been 8 months since I've collaborated. But yeah, we'll get there. So, okay, I'm going to be quiet.
You're doing fine, Brian.
Yeah, thank you. I already had Marcel go. Jennifer, are you available? I'm going to keep circling back.
Her Instagram's actually pretty popping, but I don't know if she's doing the tagging.
She is. She's pretty active on Insta. Yeah.
And feel free to drop your links in the chat, everyone, while we're going through these. So Mike's
let's end on Mike here for.
Yeah, you shouldn't end on me because I am horrible at it. Horrible. It's like, imagine the Hindenburg. I'm coming in for a landing and just blows up. I have intentions. DigitalPNA is a tool that I fully intend to use better this year for exactly that, which is to better communicate via video and crucially via tagging, because BizX is this community of businesses. And of course, what we should be doing is tagging the other members of BizX and perpetuating this potential engine communication that's the BizX community. And we don't, and we should, and I should, and it is top on my list this year to better do exactly what you described, Marcel. Use video effectively and cultivate the community to propagate the information.
Awesome. Mike, thank you. Marcel, do you have any closing words on that? Just since this is kind of an official tangent that had all kinds of points and meaning and not judging you and
Well,
Mike.
and for my digital PNA members, people who are already helping me with referrals and generating leads, my challenge to each of you is tag me into 3 comments this week and maybe tag everybody else. So make sure you know how to tag either at Mike Enberg or at BizX, right? For Dreamosity, it's tag at Dreamosity. For LaughTech, it's at LaughTech. I think there's no NW. PNA is at, so the usernames become really, really important because you're not looking for Marcel Allen, you're looking for at Dreamosity. And so there's a secondary branding, they call it the handle. You need to understand how to tag the handle. So my challenge for you is to use that technique this week to communicate instead of maybe email or a phone call or in addition to. So with that, let's get on to our speaker of the day, which I believe is
Boom.
Brian. Yeah, co-owner of LaughTech. So Brian, we'll start off with a couple questions. And Trish and Jennifer, you guys will see at the end, we do a speech breakout. So there's gonna be like a mini quiz. So pay attention. Because we always know sometimes when we speak, it's not perfectly received. And so we discuss some of the referral potential pieces afterwards. Okay, Brian, speaker of the day. How many years in business?
We have been in business, can you believe it? 10 years as of this past Christmas.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy indeed.
How about personal hobby or interest? Hobby, if you could have a hobby, because I know you always say you don't have one, but if you could have a hobby, what would it be?
Well, my hobby needs to be fitness, and not fit this whole pizza in my mouth. It needs to be get my kids back out and about. I have all these fantasies of starting low-level hikes and just getting on paths and adventuring with them, ideally camping and stuff like that. Something I just haven't had time to do for years, and I'm kind of ashamed of that, and I need to do it. And I also bought about a year and a half ago, so just as we were coming out of the pandemic, I bought a portable mining sluice kit that you can go take into some, river in the Pacific Northwest. And there is gold in them hills. You just have to find it. And of course, the kids think that's going to be a great retirement package. And well, let's be realistic, but it could be fun. It can get us out, adventure, and, find some nuggets if we're lucky.
Excellent. And what's the title of your presentation today?
The title of the presentation is actually called Where Did They Go? And for a moment, I'm going to stop the share. I will go back to a couple screens, but for starters, hi everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Excuse me. I'm going to talk about this tiny little company that started almost 10 years ago, and we're still trying to explain to people what the heck we do. And honestly, Marcel doesn't like it when I say this, but we really don't have competition, because there's no one that does exactly what we do. There are some people out there, some businesses that kind of align with us, that we can work well with. I believe we play well with anyone in the proverbial business sandbox. But when it boils down to it, we have a technique that we teach people. We call them methods, that isn't done anywhere. And I'm extremely proud of what Marcel and I have accomplished over the last few years. So I normally start presentations like this with kind of a zinger. And some people are afraid to say this, but boring sucks. People don't listen to, seek out, or go look for boring. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I'd like to hang out with boring people today. It doesn't happen. However, if people learn to laugh with each other, not at each other, you listen better, you feel better, you learn more, you retain more, and you experience an entire physicality change during the process of being around people that exert their funny bone as a skill set. Sometimes it's just those people that have a warm smile. We're never going to teach you how to tell a joke in LaughTech. That's not what we do. What we do, yes, I had a dramatic pause there, so I didn't say do. Oops. We literally get people to be comfortable with the forms of humor they're already using. Now, all of you right now, in some way, shape, or form, you're smiling. You may not. Did you know you can smile without your mouth? You can smile with your eyes. You can. You're all going, yeah. You can smile with your eyes. You can smile with your eyebrows. You can actually smile with your ears. Now, some people have creepy muscles and they can make their ears go down and stuff. But if things like this shift and the ears go up, you're being paid attention to. You've stimulated that person's reaction to make them go, oh, I want to hear more. So it's remarkable how there's an entire physical change. That alone is something that not a lot of people teach, and they really, really should. Whether you're grieving, whether you're being sold to, whether you have a quota to hit, or you're dealing with simple challenges with communications at the workplace, or even a loved one, or even an unloved one, I don't care. They're the same person as far as I'm concerned. Humor becomes an invaluable tool, both in business and personal. And we have been teaching that successfully for years now. How do we do it? Mike, I'm glad you asked. We focus on developing everyone's own mix of humor in a number of ways. It can be individual sessions, which means if you're cool enough, both Marcel and I will work with you as an individual person, because sometimes you might resonate better with the gal sitting next to me in a certain scenario. Might be the other way around. She promises she won't take offense, even though she can take you in a fight. She's scrappy. So I warn you. Or we can teach in front of groups of people. We love sales teams. We also love sales teams that are going through problems. Room for growth, as we call it. We don't like the word negative. We don't like to use negative words. But guess what also happens? When a sales manager calls us and they're like, our team sucks and our sales are low and wah, 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 like the Peanuts gang sounds. We end up working with the management first, because positivity rolls downhill, as well as other things. If you at all experience in business, we can fix some of the problems at the top, make them realize that leading with negativity is causing a high sick leave cost for the organization, low performance, turnover. Who knows a company that has a revolving door when it comes to turnover? Chances are those people are unhappy, not at their job, not at what they're selling, but who they're working with or for. We can help fix those problems. So what do we do, or why do we do this, and how do we do it? I mentioned we do sales training. When Marcel and I first met years back, it was an immediate understanding that, oh my gosh, she comes from an amazing place of humor where she used it as a recovery tool. I also was coming from a place of pain and frustration, and also my whole life I've used humor as a tool, but I used it more as a shield or as a weapon. Did you know that you could be just as brutal to somebody using humor than you can if you say, what's that water in your face? You could be horrible. If you're making people around you laugh at that person, suddenly, boom, you're the bully. That's how I used humor. So we got together and we developed what we call the 6 methods of humor. And they are 6 methods. And it is a cool graphic, which ironically I don't have on the screen right now. But it's 6 methods of humor that we teach as curriculum. It can be taught in a 7-week course. Now, those of you that are good at math, that's different. Oh, Marcel just popped it open. Close your little video screen for a second. We can see the whole graphic. Do you have a little slider? Oh, there you go. That's the brain. So thank you, Marcel. We start with scene, and then sound, and then story, and then sequence, and sensation, and silly. And why do we do all the S's? I don't know. But it was sexy, and it sounded good. And we kind of developed that over one night of probably drinking at the office. But it was great because think about this. When you're telling a story or you're setting up something that you're going to be communicating, you're always setting the scene. Whether you're in the kitchen or in the office, or imagine this or that, you're creating the scene. You're using your voice. That is the vocal word, the spoken word, whether you're imitating something like an old guy or old lady, or barking like a dog, or just using your voice with, ups and downs, crescendos and decrescendos. That's sound. Stories sell. If you want to put someone in a position where they realize they need to buy your product or service or listen to what you're talking about so you can come to a resolution, you create a story. You put them in that story. Sequence is one of the only examples of where we're literally teaching how to make someone laugh. Comedians do that. You might know the whole, you might be a redneck type of thing, or you're from Rent and If, and then there's something that's a simple joke, another simple joke, and then a swivel. That's the pivot. It makes people go, oh snap, Rosie didn't just say that. It's something funny. The last one is sensation. We all know what happened to Old Yeller, right? Hate to say it. Spoiler alert, dog dies at the end. Emotional stories. Trish's like, oh no. If you get someone to feel emotion, you're immediately allowing them to walk your walk, get into your shoes. right? Believe what you're selling. Drink the Kool-Aid, whatever the case is. And then silly is actually the very last one. And that is actually a marriage of the other techniques, other methods that you've learned, and you come out on the other end with your own method of humor, your own style, your own mix. So we're very, very proud of that. So if you use humor to become a better speaker, a more likable speaker, a listenable speaker, hard to say apparently, and ideally a more ROI-able speaker, you can do that by utilizing humor in some way, shape, or form. And Marcel and I are always looking for those contacts, those people that have that need, whether again, it's individuals or groups. We can also be packaged up in a bright little bow and be given to an organization. We can do what we call the laugh and learn. And we'll come in for an hour to 90 minutes and edutain and get people on the same page. Great as an icebreaker, great as a brand new back in the office. Unfortunately, you've been working from home forever. Now you're back in the office. Let's make you laugh and enjoy each other's company, reconnect. Those are great opportunities. So when people laugh, you get them. There's a saying that Marcel reminded me of years ago, and we've used it ever since. I don't remember who said it, but someone else probably smarter did. It's if they laugh or cry, they buy. And that's so true. It really is. The people who pay attention to you are the ones that are enraptured with what you're talking about. If they're feeling an emotional connection, they're going to become your customer, or they're going to become your friend, or they're going to listen to your scenario, your scene, your side of the story, and you're going to become a better and more confident and competent presenters. So in this case, where do they go? Nowhere. They stay right there with you. All right. Now I'm going to go back to sharing the screen and talk about another fun thing that I started to do years ago. We've wrapped it up underneath Laugh Tech because it just makes sense. Because I'm known to be a bit of a humorous guy at times. That's all I'll say about that. The rest is up for you to judge. But I have been an MC and auctioneer now for a number of years. I admit I love this so much it makes my face hurt. There is nothing more rewarding than making people laugh and feel comfortable and building instant rapport, because when they're laughing as the audience, guess what happens? The money falls out of their pockets, or purses, or they write a bigger check, or they get emotionally involved using sensation, all the stuff I already talked about, and they want to ride the train of emotion, donation, getting involved, writing a bigger check, bidding things higher. It's so much fun. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I do that are different than anyone else that I know currently working the auction circuit. What I do is a lot. There are some people, some auctioneers, they will remain nameless, although if you take me out to drinks, I might name some. They just show up. They show up on the day of. They do a great job. Maybe they've been doing it for years, countless years, but they don't get involved in the beginning stages of whatever that event is. It can be a PTA, it can be a booster, it can be a local choir that's not attached to anything, but it's a private business. They're trying to raise money. It can be any nonprofit, doesn't matter. They just show up and they do their job and they go home, and they take normally a really huge check. Okay. Talk about number droppers. I'm not going to be that particular person, but what I like doing, especially if it's a situation where legacy-based information is being lost, this is where I'm separated from all of my competition. What happens, anyone know the answer here? What happens in a 4-year or a 3 to 4 year high school or middle school scenario, depending on the district, how many years that they have under the hood? What happens after a couple of years to the team that's been doing the auction? Anybody?
They move on.
They move
they
on.
graduate.
And yeah, I was going to say, why do they move on? It's simple, but it's funny to think that people don't think about this. They move on because their kids graduate. So they're removed from the system. So they might have been the best auction coordinator or committee chairperson on the planet. But trust me, after 4 years, they run like a recently freed caged animal back into the forest because it's so much work. What happens, unfortunately, they take that knowledge with them. They take their processes with them. It is lost. And that can be devastating to an organization. I find that a lot with churches. I find that a lot with schools. I find that a lot with certain NPOs, nonprofit organizations, that maybe are a wee bit disorganized and they have some of the revolving door syndrome, right? RDS. So we need to be very careful about that in the industry to be able to protect our clients and to get them to document this stuff and keep it under one roof, for lack of better words. But I have the experience to go in and help folks go through this. So I'm going to bring up the shared screen here for again for a moment and just talk about some of the things that you might be familiar with, right? This is an event. This is an event I did last year, Shorewood Boosters. Big dollar goal, big event. But look at how many pages just in this program that they had to put together with a team that had no idea what they're doing. I didn't create this particular document, but I guided them through the entire process. So for lack of better words, this is front and back. It's not important, but Shorewood Boosters, amazing, amazing booster club. So the schedule, the flow, the ins, the outs, the event itself, all of the little thank yous for people involved. I'm going to go through this fast, so you will be tested, so pay attention. The list of donors, the list of supporters, auction tips, what's going to happen, how to do it, the rules, special shout outs to thank you for sponsors. I'm there as well. Yay. Auction information. How do you do what you're about to do? Description of all the games, description of all the offers, the raffles, heads or tails. Then you dive into the actual live auction items itself, multiple pages of the live auctions. The menu, what do you have for the event? Is it going to be a buffet? Is it going to be plated? Due to the time of the event, if it's going to be a buffet, you need 45 minutes to get people to go through the freaking buffet. If you don't have it be a two-sided buffet, so people can access it from both sides, or a served buffet where there's a crew doling out food like you're in some school cafeteria, so the line goes faster. I know all these things, and people I work with, unfortunately, don't often, so I educate them. Live auction items, I work with them on the order of things. What should be live? What should be silent? Why should that one be silent? Why do we group it? Can any of these live auction items at the last second, oh no, the auctioneer randomly says, hey, by the way, craft cocktails for $8. This went for a great price. I just got permission, wink, wink, hint, hint, to double that. Guess what, folks? That's never random. That's never improv. I've planned it. I'm not a magician. I'm not David Copperfield. But it feels like magic when I'm out there on the floor and people go, oh, he's so gracious. He got a second one. We can drink more. You know, all of these types of things I build in to generate more money for the organization. Again, advertisements, a bunch of items through and through. It takes a ton of work to do something like this, right? Now, the program flow itself, like I mentioned, I know how the event should go. I know if you have 2 or 3 tables for silent auction items, that area needs to be worked by the auctioneer. They need to have a wireless mic or one of the little Madonna clip ear mics that she made famous back in the late 80s. And I need to be working that table like there's no tomorrow. I need to be picking up the empty bid sheets and saying, why doesn't anybody want the chiropractic service and massage? We're going for 100% participation, folks. Let's get some bids on this. It's a great offer, $395 value starting at $85. Let's get it done. People look at that and they hear that and they go, oh, we're going to put a bid just to get him to shut up. I hate to say it, but that's why they do it, because I'm working those tables, right? Lots of auctioneers, they don't. They just let the silent auctions go. They let the silent auctions close. They move on to the next event or the next game. And worse, they're not in uptime, they're in downtime. They're just mailing in the effort. I do not do that. I will work with folks with the flow, make sure that the timing is precise, literally down to the minute, and make absolutely certain that they realize that everything has to have a time associated with it. Even those keynote speakers, 7:40 p.m., Lynn McCoy, that woman spoke for 15 minutes. It's supposed to be 5 minutes. So that type of thing happens, but everything else I've built in has wiggle room. Unbeknownst to even the people running the show with me, I got wiggle room built in. I'll go faster somewhere else. We'll shuffle stuff around seamlessly. Items here for the auction, right? Who knows roughly how much an item should start at? Don't look at that sheet for just a second. If something goes for $500, any idea what it should start at roughly? Okay, you've all already looked. Historically, 40% off list. That's where a live auction item should start based off of whatever the actual retail value is. It's amazing how many organizations don't know that. So again, simple thing, I've got the education to back it. There's also certain numbers you don't ever want to have. You don't ever want to end on a 3. So if it's $393, rah, you just round that up or down. $400, boom, starts at roughly $250, $240, $200, whatever the case is. I work with them through all that sort of thing. Raise the paddle. Did you know that if they start at say $1,500, probably the first or second person in the audience to get the ball rolling, to get the excitement generated, they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They've been talked to long ahead of time. We've planted them as seeds to get everyone else emotionally involved. And that's why when I do Raise the Paddle, also known as Fund the Need specifically, I ask people, be happy, be cheerful, be loud, be proud. Let's do this, right? So we get people heavily involved in all of that. I can also create the bid number cards with all the information so the checkout process is simple, clean, and easy. I've made ones also that have a QR code at the end. So at the very end, they know exactly how much money they have. In that case, with the QR code, they scan, pay, they're gone. They pick up their stuff at registration and they're gone. Or they have all this information there. They simply leave that at the table or turn it in at the end and the order can be processed. It's quick and easy and simple, but if you don't know how to do it, it's little tips and techniques that you need to have. Now, this is something I'm very proud of because it's simply called a media kit. I know I look goofy, but it's fun. And if you have a media kit like this, a couple pages, showcases testimonials, a couple headshots to help market me, places I've been to, organizations I've helped support. And I thought that one had 3 pages or 4 pages. Either way, this is the media kit that's available on the Laugh Tech website. My ask for everybody today, because I literally have 2 more minutes of talking time, and then we can do questions and answers. I'm the one answering. I'm going to put the link in the chat window. If any of you know organizations, schools, nonprofits, even if they've used the same person for years, maybe they want to shake it up a little bit. Because I do love making people laugh. I specialize in crowd work, building instant rapport. I like being the MC and auctioneer because there's no transition between the two. You don't have to rebuild the rapport. They're ready for me to just seamlessly go into the money opportunity for the night. I want those introductions. I want to take care of organizations. It's been a pure joy. So now I will be quiet until you, all of you, ask me questions. Thanks, everybody.
All right, great job, Brian. I love seeing the speaker sheet at the end. Well done. Okay, so let's do questions real quick. Any questions for Brian just to clarify what he does or just curiosities you may have?
So I just want to say, wow, I didn't know you did the auctioneer too. I mean, you wear so many hats. It's crazy.
Thank you.
We had, I see Seattle Children's on there.
Yeah.
Every single year, we at Remax do a huge event for Seattle Children's Hospital, and usually it's at the Tulalip Casino. I lost, however you want to say. My husband says that I shouldn't have had a glass of champagne. $7,500 on our credit cards, but you know,
Wow.
it was to the kids, right? Yeah. And we apparently have a trip to Paris, which Anyway, so that auctioneer was darn good, but I do know that he has been for the past, I'd say 3-4 years. And I immediately, when you started talking and explaining it, I thought, oh my gosh, I am going to send your link, and I'm glad you said link, over to our 2 head people that do it, because it's an amazing event. I think last year we raised $48,000 for Seattle Children's Uncompensated Fund. And at Remax, we do a lot for children's out of every transaction we do for clients, but the auction is a big, huge part of our yearly give. So thanks for that info. That's great.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. I'm actually going to be doing an event for Seattle Children's out in Normandy Park in, I think it's March or April. But I know that there's a lot of different guilds and whatnot. So this is for a specific guild, and I've done a lot of work for them and Leukemia Lymphoma Society. So I'd love those introductions, because anything that has to do with cancer, it's touched my life, lost my mother to it, and all that unfortunate stuff, I'm in, especially if it involves kids too. I'm absolutely in. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, and that's the whole role. Oh, go ahead, Trish.
I was going to say, I'd love the link too, because I can share it with Keller Williams. They do an auction every year in October, and I think they can improve in that area. So I'd be happy to share your information with some of the people I know. So I'll copy this right here.
Thank you.
And also, I'd love to connect and know more about Laugh Tech.
Yep.
really relates a lot to my body language strategy, because this right here shows our intentions and helps people to lean in more to our messaging and lean into us and want to become part of our tribe. So I think I would really love to connect and know more and see, we can do our video together, because as a body language strategist, what you said, a lot of that really resonated with me, on how we use our bodies, how we use our voice, how we use our eyes to get people, again, to lean into us. I loved it all. So no question, just more of a comment.
Yay,
I'll
thanks,
take that.
Trish.
Thank you.
All right, Brian, can you cue up the speech breakout
Yeah,
screen, please,
happy
just so we
to.
can all see that?
So
And
next
thank you for
up-
the feedback. So this next portion, when you become a member, you get a 20-minute speaking slot, and then we do a feedback where we kind of talk about key things just to clarify, because again, it really tests that we were paying attention. So let's talk about our target market. Who is Brian looking for in terms of businesses or other people that need his services? Go ahead and just popcorn them out.
And it feels like that there are an audience for Laugh Tech is going to be teams that are communicating, like sales teams or even marketing teams. There's that I think you mentioned that in your presentation, but I see direct application for teams that find themselves in front of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Any committee or like auction committee or fundraising committee, people who are on those committees.
I think anybody that has a business, it's in my business, I work with so many different people of every sort of stage of life, of every sort of background. I mean, everything. And it's instilling laughter in there is so important, or being able to understand those techniques, because I mean, sometimes I get tongue-tied and it's like I don't know what to say, or they come with me with a question and it's like, and we're kind of taught to say, that's a wonderful question. I'm going to have to research that and get back to you. But I'd love some new different techniques of being able to do things different and have some of that. I have a snarky attitude, so I have a snarky way of laughter kind of stuff, and I can be a real smart ass, but sometimes I need to tone that down, and I think that would be great for me to learn some of that.
We do have an entire workshop on appropriate use of humor. And I think that probably might be right down your
Interesting.
alley.
I was going to say, I could see this being used for just a single presenter as well. I've been doing a lot of presenting lately, and then I saw someone at the Women's Council of Realtors just last month, Jessica, is it Jessica Butts?
Mm-hmm.
Marcel, yeah. And the energy she had and the humor that she put in, I thought, oh, I need to readdress my presentation, and I need to add a little bit more humor and, just to engage the audience a little bit more. But we can get so stuck on trying to do our presentation and do it perfectly. And again, perfect is boring, that I really need to let go. And I'm normally a funny person and I laugh at myself all the time. But I know that I could improve in this area, definitely.
Excellent, great point. Okay, so key conversation. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Just a quick question, Brian and Marcel. A good portion of the general public has real anxiety about getting up in front of people.
Yeah.
And it feels like what Laugh Tech is able to do is to cater to people who may not have somehow overcome that initial resistance to get in front of people. So it's somebody who wants to hone their skills, somebody who wants to use humor as an effective tool, probably have more fun in presenting. Do you approach the market of those who even before that stage have such anxiety, and that group of people that don't even see themselves getting in front of people because they have such anxiety?
We absolutely do. As a matter of fact, most of our classes, our workshops, whether it's one of our laugh and learns that's strictly improvisational based, or any of our essentially breakout sessions, which get very kernelized, we deal with anxiety, we deal with humor resiliency. And the most amazing thing that we've always been able to replicate successfully by, I don't know, fate, act of God, whatever you want to believe, just because Marcel makes me look good, I have no idea. The shy people are the ones within 1 or 2 small exercises become the first ones that want to volunteer. We've been able to create this incredibly safe, positive atmosphere everywhere we've traveled. Just like, you know, a drop in a bucket, it just happens, it blossoms. So getting people to understand without even realizing that they're achieving that is, it works every time. So yeah.
I would absolutely say
your
that
mom.
anywhere leadership is a conversation, humor can help, because first you are leading yourself to relax and to feel confident, and then you are leading the room to feel.
Yeah.
And there's a range of feelings a great presenter can help you make them feel, right? It's not about manipulation, but the great speaker, like Trish was saying about Jessica Butts, it's high energy. It makes you feel good, but also gives you just enough fear or concern to be like, ooh, I should pay attention. You know, like you are leading people to feel, and that's really where it's really exciting. Okay, key conversations. What triggers a referral, or what comments would members be out there tagging or leaving, like tagging at LaughTech? Say, you've got a friend on Facebook, oh, I got to do a speech, or I want to start doing video, or my boss is so boring. Like, what might you hear on social media or at happy hour where you're like, oh, I need to tag in LaughTech here?
I've got a presentation coming up and I'm anxious about it, or I don't know what I'm going to do, or
Yeah.
I'm scared about a presentation.
Yep.
Excellent. I'd also notice if you ever hear people saying, oh, video doesn't work, like, let's look at how well the presentation was, and was it any good? Because the minute we go on camera, we are now in the entertainment industry, and there's so much more entertaining that can be doing while people are educating.
Yeah.
Okay. Beneficial syndications. This is kind of looking at, oh, I know a group, like, thank you, Trish, for saying Keller Williams, or, you know, a community, or there's a Facebook group, or maybe there's like a bank that needs to sponsor cool brands like LaughTech. This is just, if you have any other kind of strategic ideas for LaughTech.
And you had mentioned in a comment, I think maybe on Facebook, that you recently were awarded something from a group you're already involved in. That sounds like, if not a representational firm, a directory of MCs and auctioneers. Are there others like that exist? Are there, you know, professional groups?
Yeah, that's a great question. I market my own skill sets through 2 places, one called Gig Salad, the other called The Bash, and they both sound like odd, creepy dating sites where you're just reduced to a number, but they're not. They're legitimate, and I have a unique follow-up for each one of those bids, so I'm not just a number. And when I am able to earn those opportunities, I definitely tout it, because I know most people just drop a number in there and don't ever look back. So they're not maximizing that membership. Plus, I have this one who's involved in most of my Zoom calls, who just meerkats next to me and paws for attention. So that happened just the other day on a call with a potential client, ironically for ARF out in Cleellum, Animal Rescue and Rehabilitation Foundation. They now want my rescue dog Chewy to be on stage with me doing that in a mini tuxedo. So he closed the deal for me. Very talented dog.
Good. Thanks, Trish. Good to see you. And I told some people we went to
I was
one.
going to say, sorry, everyone. I have a 1 o'clock. I got to run too. Okay.
Great to meet you, Trish.
Good to see you.
Great.
Nice meeting
you. Thanks.
Okay. Other categories. I don't know. Language and body posture coach.
Yeah.
Just left. What other categories can we think of where you're like, oh, we need them in here to really help Brian grow LaughTech? I want to say fashion.
Well, agents.
Yeah.
I mean, representation, talent representation.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Everybody.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yes.
I need like a director of a school who knows of all the fundraisers or whatever that role is.
Right.
There
Oh
was
my goodness. One of my first careers was I was a teacher for the Everett School District. And
Right.
boy, can I tell you, a lot of the administration and principals and stuff, boy, they sure need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love an introduction if you're still got connections there.
As
Okay.
far as other businesses that I would love to have be part of Digital PNA, I'd love it if you all consider looking for event planners, copywriter, copy editor, normally two separate things. That's not often known. And then a videographer / photographer. They are very much in touch, especially with school districts from the standpoint of headshots to sports related albums, yearbook stuff. Those are great contacts to get me into the school districts because I'm looking for PTA leaders. I'm looking for auction coordinators. I'm looking for PTSA or booster head chairperson people, used to be called chairman. Those are direct contacts that would know exactly who's going to be used, who they're entertaining to use, or who they need, right?
Yeah, excellent. Well, great presentation, Brian, and thanks everybody for the feedback. As we continue to grow here, we are wanting people to share out video links and video content and/or speaker sheets. So if you don't have a speaker sheet yet, definitely think about how you could create one. But let's talk about, I think, Brian, I'm going to pass it back to you, but if you guys have a video, so last week we really talked about how many lifetime views do you have on YouTube, and people shared if they knew. But after this call, check in. Has it grown? Did it go up by 20? Did it go up by 200? Because part of this community is designed to share your videos. And so anyway, back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Marcel. So we ended basically on that section of other business categories. I also would love it, as always, for everyone to kind of think big. There's so many businesses out there run by incredible people, whether they're out of their garage or in their grandmother's basement or whatever the case is, or maybe they're just fully fledged businesses, but they don't think they can be part of a networking group. And that's so wrong. 3D modelers, voiceover artists, SEO specialists often think, well, frankly, sometimes they think they're better than that, but they need connections. Grant writer, custom gifts. I did hope to have my illustrator here, maybe next time. These are businesses that we want because, as I mentioned before, they may not be tied to a physical brick and mortar or just to a zip code. So take a look at this and see if there's anyone you know in your network. Take a screenshot, it'll last longer, whatever. But think about some of these that are really out of the box. And if anyone does need to leave, we normally go until 1:30. Today we're going to be a little bit shorter because I know a few people have pressing stuff to go to. So I know that we lost one person. If you got to go, that's fine. Referrals or testimonials. I do want to briefly go around the room. If anybody has a referral or testimonial, speak toward it, forever hold your pieces. I'd like to start really quickly. I wanted to say thank you to a couple people. Jennifer has been to, I'm sorry I'm bad at this, 1 or 2 of our comedy nights. And for me, she's a new fresh face in the audience, she and her husband. I've really enjoyed you being there. I want to thank you for that, Jennifer. Rosie and her husband, Steve.
Oh, thank you.
2 or 3 times, yeah. And I love that. Marcel, well, she's my business partner. She's stuck with me, but she's back too. She's healthy enough in a road to recovery. She's been back now for one or 2. I've lost track already. Either way, great to have you back, Marcel. And Mike swung through one of them, and I appreciate that. So just from the standpoint of one of the many other things Laugh Track does, we have the comedy nights, and I've loved seeing all of you as audience or fellow participants like Marcel. So thank you for that.
Getting a fish or something.
Anyone else have a referral or testimonial?
A huge thank you to Marcel for joining BizX, and I am eager to get everything rolling faster and faster. And I hope that our team at BizX reached out to you, Marcel, because institutionally or as a strategic element, we want to do more video, and we need some help with that.
Excellent. I would love to help you. I didn't see an email yet, but if you want, I can initiate or reach out if you want me to. So
Awesome.
Yeah, I will send you somebody to reach out to. That would be
Perfect.
a great way to do it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's great. Anyone else?
I also reached out to Marcel about video. It's something that within our sphere we're supposed to do. And I personally am sick and tired of seeing all these real estate agents dance on TikTok, because I'm just not one of them. But I need a way of properly getting out there, but also doing it in my style. And I'm trying, but it takes me forever. And so definitely want to chat more about that. And I didn't realize you guys did so many different things. I mean, it's just, wow, it's a lot. It's wonderful to learn about the auctioneer. I love the laugh. My husband and I both really enjoyed it. It was a great just couple hours, not get home late, but go have some laughs, something different.
Yeah.
And we hope to attend more of those in the future. So, and a great lineup. My favorite was the lady at the end. She was just of the last one. She was hysterical.
Sandy
So
was incredible. Yeah.
keep up the good comedy lineup.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Anyone else have anything? Because if not, I got 2 more slides, and I think I am going to end early because I know of at least 2 of the people that got to go.
I would say I wanted to thank Brian and Marcel, because I'm using both you guys. Marcel's helping me, get comfortable with video, and also helping me like getting on video, basically, and being more confident. And Brian is actually helping me with some merchandise. I'm going to get my logo on checkbooks. So for a check cover, and he sent that. I got the email, so I'm going to take a look, and yeah,
Awesome.
and let you know. But yeah, so I'm excited. Things are ramping up for TAP services, all because of you, Brian, with all the tags you keep giving me and referrals. So I appreciate that.
And I have a last minute thank you to Brian. I need to find an editor for my newsletter, and it's been Brian the last 2 times, because I like hit publish and then he was like, take it offline. So I was very humbled this last week, because I'm so proud of what I'm creating with Dreamosity in the new newsletter. But it is like a print magazine format, so I can't have 8 grammatical whoopsies. So thank you for catching me.
I will always be your editor and copywriter. No worries.
We do need a copy editor in a group who wants to do this work, because I'm pretty sure this is not his favorite thing.
I'm always happy to serve. Okay, so let's go ahead and barrel through this. I'm going to jump into this screen here once again. I do want to speak or mention that we have a speaker rotation for members of the group. Up to 20 minutes to give your presentation. You don't have to use all the time, but if you want it, it's allocated. And as you experienced, if it's your first time, like Jennifer, we do something that's very different than any other business, whether it's digital PNA or any of the physical locations of PNA Northwest. We do the speech breakout, which is really a great chance for you to toss your feet up on the table and really figure out if everyone paid attention, because we dive deeper into the presentation. Because every time you open your mouth, you're teaching us to become an extension of your sales force, and that's what it's all about. We take it further with digital PNA, because we also talk about digital syndication, the sharing of videos, collaboration, things like that. So the rotation is next at the end of this month, toward the end, is Karen, and then Mike. Hopefully that date works for you, sir. Excellent. And then Rosie, our newest member, on the 20th. Very excited about that. And I just got to say, Jennifer, we'd love to have, believe it or not, a real estate agent part of this. This is also an open category chapter, the only one in the Pacific Northwest. So while you could have competition, you don't. So that's a good problem to have. And
yep, definitely.
And just so you know, the reason we did that is not to be mean, not to just get other butts in the digital chairs, but because one of the problems with all networking groups is laziness. If it's closed category, sometimes people just assume all the leads are going to come their way. That's not how it needs or should work. So I did this on purpose with digital PNA. We also cover the whole state. Jennifer may not always want to go down to Vancouver, Washington to sell a property, but maybe she'll get an incentive, a referral fee, if she refers it down to someone else from her brokerage that covers that demographic, whatever the case is. So that's kind of a good thing. Does anybody else have any announcements? If not, that's my only one there on the screen. It's another comedy night every third Friday of the month. Good Brewing. You've all been there, so I don't need to be too repetitive. It's going to be another great lineup, really funny lineup, as a matter of fact. And I'll put this link in the chat window. in case anybody wants to RSVP. So there you go. Oh, Mike. Oh, Mike gave us his photo. Thank you. Anyone else have any events or anything going on that they want to share? Mike, any big BizX events happening soon? Yep, you're on mute, boss. But you look great.
No, on I believe it's the 16th of March. I will check. We have a chamber breakfast, multiple chambers up in the Mill Creek, Marysville, Kenmore, Bothell, Woodinville area.
Yep.
And they've invited BizX to be the presenter. It won't be hard BizX beach over the head information. It really is about how small businesses can thrive in ever more cash strapped times.
Yeah. Awesome. Very good. Okay, everybody. Like I said, we normally go to 1:30, but we were actually missing 3 people today that were expected and another member. If anyone else has anything that they want to share, feel free to. If not, we can close a bit early, unusual, but we'll do it. Are we good?
Yes, thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Mike.
You know, Brian, I think that latter part of your presentation, which really was kind of secrets of auctioneering, could be an entire presentation itself. I mean, the behind the scenes of something that has a lot of moving parts, that is as much stagecraft as it is the fundraising, I think is inherently interesting.
I agree.
I barely touched the surface too, or scratched the surface. It's, I mean, I put in 10 to 15 hours prior to an event quite often for my client, and I still don't charge John Curley prices, which is $5,000 just to get him on stage.
We've had John Curley before.
Yeah.
And we last year I think Jennifer, we had he's a radio personality.
Yeah. Well, John's a great guy. He's earned every penny. But there, you know, some people love folks or hate folks, and I like replacing people like him if the opportunity arises. My hair's better too. So
I do think you could turn that into something that is like a fully functional, whether article for a magazine or online blog that gets a lot of hits, or a little video.
I'm open to it.
Agreed. I even noticed several of the things you stated were things that I tactically saying fell for at the auction last year, and ended. That's how I got the trip to Paris.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. There's sneaky things, but that's maybe one of the reasons why I won't do that video. But all right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your day. We made it. It's Wednesday, hump day. Take care, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you.
And take care.
Nice meeting you, Jennifer and Rosie.
Nice meeting you.
You too. Thank you.